From Conor McGregor talking trash about Khabib Nurmagomedov's family, to Sean Strickland going off on a homophobic rant against Israel Adesanya, here are the times fighters took talking smack to another level. Starting with the notorious Conor McGregor. Now, when it comes to trash talking, Conor McGregor is without a doubt the undisputed king. But sometimes you can take things a little too far. Let's rewind to UFC 299, where the stage was set for an epic clash between McGregor and the reigning lightweight champ, Khabib Nurmagomedov. The build-up was intense, and McGregor as always unleashed a verbal storm. But this time, he started taking shots at Nurmagomedov's wife, family, religion, and just about everything close to him. He even offered the devout Muslim some of his alcohol. Yikes. But when that cage door slammed shut, it was time to separate the talkers from the walkers. And boy, did Nurmagomedov walk the walk. He came in like he was possessed, throwing punches every chance he gets. And let's just say McGregor was no match. I mean, there was literally nothing he could do. And in the fourth round, Nurmagomedov locked in a neck crank, forcing the notorious one to tap out. Ouch. But the drama didn't stop there. Nurmagomedov, fueled by a mix of adrenaline and raw emotion, decided to fly over that cage, attacking McGregor's team. It was chaos, pure and simple, and the rivalry etched its name in UFC history as one of the most explosive ever witnessed. In a recent ESPN interview, McGregor admitted that maybe, just maybe, he had gone a little too far with the trash talk. And you know when the Conor McGregor of all people is saying that, then it was bad. But one person who might be able to one-up him is definitely Dan Hardy. Now, this guy may have had more success on the microphone than on the mat. I mean, the dude got a title shot against Georges St. Pierre after just 4 wins in the UFC. Was it because of his stellar performances? Not really. It was definitely his trash talk that got him there. The man had a gift for getting under his opponent's skin. Remember when he used to ask his fans to Photoshop images of his upcoming opponents? I can't shake that one from my memory. And it was during his showdown with Rory Markham at UFC 99 that things got really spicy. Hardy proudly presented some, creative edits of Markham at the press conference. No one was ready for that one. Talk about mind games. The dude knew how to mess with his opponents' heads. But it wasn't just Markham who felt the burn of Hardy's verbal assaults. Oh no, he had plenty to say about Georges St. Pierre and Carlos Condit too, before they both handed him defeats. He cranked up the trash talk dial every time he stepped out to promote those fights. You've got to give the guy credit for his commitment to verbal warfare. But the best line from the Outlaw was his response to St. Pierre's comments about him not being a real mixed martial artist before their UFC 111 title fight. Hardy delivered a passive-aggressive, sarcastic gem. He said, because he walks out in the octagon in his pajamas, he's a martial artist and I'm not. Mic drop. But one person that should have dropped the mic is BJ Penn. Whenever Penn opens his mouth, some crazy stuff is about to go down. Considered one of the all-time greats in the lightweight division, BJ Penn had skills that made other fighters quake in their boots. He took down former UFC champions like it was his day job. Sean Shirk, Matt Serra, Matt Hughes, you name it. Penn conquered them all. The man had a resume that made other fighters weep in envy. But let's talk about the trash talk, shall we? Penn had this deadpan, stoic delivery that could give you the chills. He had no problem looking a guy like Renzo Gracie in the eye and telling him he'd be traumatized after their fight. And the way he said it in that robotic tone, man, it sent shivers down my spine. Psycho-level stuff if you ask me. Even after a 3-year retirement, Penn came back in 2017 and went straight back to his old ways. He looked at Yair Rodriguez and said, this fight is going to be a pro against an amateur. And well, he wasn't entirely wrong. Rodriguez kicked him in the face and finished him with a bunch of punches. And just 24 seconds into the second round. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. But hey, let's not forget the golden days of BJ Penn's trash-talking extravaganza. He had some choice words for Georges St. Pierre, his fellow divisional GOAT. And let me tell you, those words were scathing. BJ wasn't afraid to say he'd try to kill Georges, and he wasn't joking about it. Just like Josh Koscheck. This guy has a special talent for rubbing people the wrong way. Maybe it's his obnoxious behavior on The Ultimate Fighter, or his knack for pretending to get hit by illegal knees not once, but twice in separate fights. Or hey, it could just be his annoying face when he talks trash about his opponents. Take your pick. But if you want the prime example of Koscheck's trash-talking extravaganza, look no further than this clash with British striker Paul Daley at UFC 113. This fight is etched in MMA history for one reason. Daley tried to sucker punch Koscheck after the bell. Now, let me tell you, the MMA community was not impressed with that move. But here's the thing. When you hear Koscheck's take on the incident, you can kind of understand where Daly was coming from. Yeah, I said it. After his decision victory over Daly, where he used his grappling skills to dominate the Brit, Koscheck had some choice words. And he took things one step too far by just going at Daly over and over again. Oh boy, Koscheck had that smugness oozing out of every pore. You know the look, the one that makes you want to punch him in the face even more. But the one most people can't even stand to hear a hello from is Nick Diaz. We can't forget the man who gave us the iconic line, "Don't be scared, homie." Nick Diaz, or should I say Nick Montgomery Diaz. I mean, this guy loves to talk. He chats before a fight, after a fight, and even during a fight. So here's what went down. Diaz managed to talk his way into a title fight against the legendary Georges St. Pierre. And get this, he did it coming off a loss. Now, during their UFC 158 showdown, Diaz was dominated by GSP. It wasn't pretty. But you know what Diaz did right after the fight? He said he wanted a rematch. And believe it or not, people were actually considering it as a viable option. Can you believe that? Here's the thing about Diaz though. Even though he hasn't won a fight in over a decade, you still feel like he's just one grimace and a couple of gang signs away from getting a title shot. It's absolutely crazy when you think about it. But hey, that's the Diaz effect for you. Although he's got nothing on Dominic Cruz, this guy knows how to tear his opponents apart with words. Now, Cruz may not have a collection of jaw-dropping sound bites or a bunch of snappy one-liners, but he brings the heat consistently. Let's take a trip back to 2016, when he went head-to-head with TJ Dillashaw on a verbal battle for the ages. It all started innocently enough, with a simple question about how Cruz matched up against the champ. And what did Cruz do? He dropped some truth bombs. He calmly stated that while Dillashaw had power, his own elusiveness would trump it, making all the difference in the end. Boom. But hold on, Dillashaw wasn't about to let that slide. He fired back, claiming Cruz had holes in his game and would end up getting knocked out. Now, here's where it gets really entertaining. Cruz, with his brilliant mind and quick wit, turned the tables on Dillashaw. He asked for proof. What were these alleged holes in his game? How exactly would Dillashaw deliver that knockout blow? Cruz had him cornered. As the back and forth continued, poor Dillashaw squirmed in his seat like a fish out of water. He had no real answers, and Cruz made sure to point that out with a devilish grin. In the end, it was a verbal disaster for Dillashaw. Cruz's analytical smarts and relentless questioning left him without a leg to stand on. Kind of like what Sean Strickland does to his opponents. This guy knows how to make headlines without even throwing a knockout punch. He's like a verbal ninja, sneaking in with well-placed insults that generate more buzz than a roundhouse kick to the face. Sure, Strickland's fighting style may not be the flashiest, but when it comes to slinging words, he's a true maestro. He's got this uncanny ability to make everyone second-guess themselves with his crude humor and crazy remarks. And let me tell you, his trash talk knows no bounds. It's not just his opponents that Strickland has in his crosshairs. Oh no, he's happy to take shots at anyone and everyone. The man has no filter, and he's not afraid to use it. And let's not forget about that infamous moment when he went off on a homophobic rant against Israel Adesanya during a pre-fight press conference. Oh boy, that stirred up a storm of attention. Strickland earned himself both good and bad publicity with that one. So from the time when Sean Strickland went off on a homophobic rant against Israel Adesanya, to Conor McGregor talking trash about Khabib Nurmagomedov's family, these are the times fighters took talking smack to another level.